I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Allegany County Board of Education for August 13th, 2024. Would you all please stand for the pledge to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Llewellyn, reading of the closed session summary for executive session June 11th.
The Allegany County Board of Education met in closed session on June 11, 2024 at 3 p.m. here at the central office. The purpose of the closed session was to consult with legal counsel, discuss personnel matters, and engage in administrative function. The vote to go into executive session was unanimous. The topics discussed was Assistant Supervisor of Transportation, elementary school principals, school security employee insurance, Allegany High School ground lease, property, and use of facilities charges.
Thank you, sir. Next on the agenda is the consent agenda. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Ms. Fraley?
Second.
Second by Ms. Lepley. Any discussion? All those in favor? Passed. Superintendent's report. Mr. Blank.
Start off with Mr. King. Yep. With the FBLA and Skills USA winners.
Good evening. First, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank the elected Board of Education and Superintendent Blank for inviting students from the Career Center who have excelled in their skill areas and participated in the national competitions. First, I'd like to talk about the Skills USA competition. It was held in Atlanta, Georgia. Students Isaiah Bouchard competed in auto body, Peyton Snyder, welding sculpture, Caleb Morgan, Academy of Health, job skill demonstrations, Bethany Scott, graphic communications, graphic dye sublimation, Avery Lease, Easton Matthews, Caleb Opal, and Camden Sears in Teamworks. Instructors that accompanied our students were Gary Taylor, Mike Shockey, Nick Trifero, and Jared Morgan. With us this evening of the Skills USA students are Peyton Snyder and Caleb Morgan, and instructors Gary Taylor and Jared Morgan. Our FBLA students participated in June in Orlando, Florida. Students were Ben Myers, Alyssa Langen, Harley Smith, Lane Cassidy, Violet Strozakowski, Austin Jacobs. The instructors were Tyler Curick and his mother, Kim Curick, who teaches at Allegany. With us from the FBLA group is Ben Myers, Harley Smith, Lena Cassidy, and Austin Jacobs, and Mr. Tyler Curick. All of our students went to these competitions. Skills USA, you have to place first in the state competition to be able to be eligible for the national competition. FBLA, you have to place somewhere 1 through 4 to participate in the national competition. If we just have a moment, I'd like the instructors to go ahead and give a little information on how the competitions went.
My name's Gary Taylor. I teach carpentry at the Career Center. I assisted in my team consisting of 2 carpenters, an electrician, and a plumber. And what they are, it's called a Teamworks. What I do is I take the students, I'll kind of cross-train them and have them learn everyone else's project. It's the same project. What they have to do is build a small house, okay? And it's a 4-day competition. And all my students, it starts off with the first evening, they have to sit there and they're given the design mode of what they have to build. What they have to do is they have to learn to do public speaking. What they have to do is write a material estimation up and a plan of attack. okay? And they have like an hour and a half to do that. So what they do is they say how they're going to go about the project and how to do it for each category. And then the second day they come in, they start the build, okay? And it's normally all 4 of them are playing carpenter at that time, okay, to get this underway. And then as they get through the carpentry process over the next 2 days, every student gets to break off and do what they're there for. Like I had an electrician. When we had the walls up, he could break off and start his wiring. When we had far enough, the plumber could break off and do his, and then we had the other student break off and do the masonry aspect of it. And then the carpenter, he just keeps going, getting the roof built and stuff like that. It's a pretty challenging competition. As Mr. King stated, you have to be first in the state to get that. And when you get out there, you have a chance with us all 50 states plus Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Virgin Islands. There's a possibility of 53 teams there, okay? We was out there this year, I think it was 48 teams, and we placed about 22nd out of 48. And I think that's pretty good because we're competing against 3- and 4-year schools, okay? And us being only a 2-year school. So I feel pretty good for the team that they did it. This is our 3rd time in the last 5 years that we made it out there. We've seen as good as 10th out there in the teamwork competition. So I guess we're doing something right back here at the school. I'd like to thank the board for assisting on letting our students go and the help they give them along the way. So I'll let Mr. Morgan take care of it.
I have a question, Mr. Taylor. Mr. Taylor, I have a question. Your students from your teamworks are not here,
No, they all were working,
Yeah.
and they couldn't get off.
right?
So I guess they want to make money now.
My question for everyone to hear, when you're preparing for this competition, what's your strategy as a teacher to prepare the teamwork and to be successful as you were, to be #1 in the state and then to compete and
Teach a lot of stuff. Strategy is taking them all and just basically starting on a clean slate. And what I'll do is I'll hand them a set of blueprints from the previous competitions. Sometimes we get them. And it's different every time they go, but at least they can go back. And I'll build 2 or 3 different projects within the amount of time from states to nationals. I'll build different projects, and what I try to do is have them go over the details. Paying attention to details is a really big thing within this line. So doing the details, knowing how they can do all different roof designs. Safety is stressed out. You know, you got to keep your safety glasses on. You got to do this. You know, they look at the way you handle your tools and the way they work as a team. I mean, even public speaking, what I do with that, I'll take them down to the English department. And when Miss Bittner was there, we would review. So we have them come in like a military style, turn, you know, make everything right. They stand, they'll introduce themselves, where they're from, what school they're from, and then they'll say what their plan of attack is. Every one of them have to talk. So it's trying to just get a student to talk sometimes is a big challenge to stand up and do it. But they all come back to do it. And I mean, it was a great opportunity, but there's a lot of times that I stay after school with them. We'll come in on Saturdays and Sundays sometimes and then practice. And there's a lot of hours that we go through just getting them ready for the competition. I try to do it all year long, but the advantage we have is a lot of us, we build our student house. So they're used to working with their tools individually out there at the student house, you know, and then that gives them, you know, enough drive. Hey, you did this back there, you do it this way, you know. And the other thing is once we get the prints, we sit there in the evening, we may go over them set of prints for 2 or 3 or 4 hours, just talking about new things, what they didn't do and how to accomplish it. So there is a lot of time involved in the prep for it.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
but,
congratulations.
thank you.
So I'll talk for the rest of them, although with Isaiah, who did automotive refinishing, which would be auto body work, I'm not exactly sure what his consisted of, but he did well. And Bethany Scott did dye sublimation. I'm not an expert, but I do believe that's a way of printing graphics on things such as, I think she did socks, a mug, a t-shirt. And she also did well, 14th, I think. And I want to really, Gary went over most of everything that I would say too. I really do appreciate this opportunity that we have, that we can take these kids to a national competition. And like he said, and I've told the kids that, you know, you have a classroom and you can regionally pick usually your 3 best, and they go against, we're from Frederick all the way over. That's our region. So Frederick, Washington, Southern, and us. That's who we compete against regionally. So you're putting your best kids against their best kids. Only the top 3 from the regional go on to state. So then you have the top 3 from your regional, from each region, then compete against each other, and only gold from that goes on to nationals. So what these kids accomplished is something special, I think. And on top of all that, we have the two that we have here, both Caleb and Peyton, were in the top 10 nationally. So I think that they did a fantastic job. Caleb's was, he did something called job skill demonstration, which means that you take a basic entry-level job skill. In his case, he did seizure protocol, where he went through what would happen if you were around an epileptic, how to take care of them, and what you would do in that situation. He demonstrates it for 5 to 7 minutes in front of a group of judges with props and everything. So that's job skill demonstration. And Peyton did welding sculpture. That starts months ago. That started right around, I think we kind of started forming ideas maybe at Christmas, something like that. And she made a pirate ship in a Kraken, if you know what that fictional, it's a giant squid, is like taking the pirate ship down. It's really neat if you get a chance. She has pictures, I have pictures. And that took 8th out of 44 sculptures that were there on the high school level. And that includes everything from not just her building the sculpture, but then she has to present it. So she had to learn to talk her way through, this is how I did what, understand the language, involved with welding and the process, and to put together a book along the way that documents everything from prices of materials to pictures of her doing each and everything that was in there. So yeah, I think that's the competitions that we were in. It was Teamworks, welding sculpture, job skill demonstration, dye sublimation, and automotive refinishing. And that's a lot of kids coming from our little school that qualified for that. Yes, thank you. So thank you.
Hello, my name is Mr. Keurig, Mr. Tyler. I took these kids to FBLA Nationals at Orlando, Florida. We had a couple different competitions, including help desk, cybersecurity, coding and programming, and to kind of train these kids for that, we do a lot of different work orders in the classroom area. So, as you know, technology will just break left and right, and they usually call our classroom first to come and handle that and fix that. So they get real kind of hands-on experience before they even do the competitions themselves. So that's a good way that we can kind of train them, along with the curriculum as well. It teaches them things with the cybersecurity, coding and programming, and that kind of stuff. They were at FBLA, they don't tell us what place we get at nationals unless you're in the top. I believe it's the top 10 for your category, or might be top 8. But however, we did go to nationals, but unfortunately nobody did place at nationals, but still very proud of them for going to nationals and getting there in the first place. And yeah, Orlando was, I think they had a good time. So, any questions? Yeah, thank you.
If I could have just a second, from the skill areas, is Peyton and Caleb here? Is that correct? Could you two come up just for a second? I won't embarrass you. I just have a question. Come on over by the microphone. Just wanted to ask you about your experience. Tell us about your experience from winning the region and going to states and going to nationals. Tell us about it.
I mean, it was a lot of fun. I had fun because I got to put my speech together. I got to practice it a lot at home. I got to bring my brother along with it because he's an epileptic, so I even had him fake a seizure for my presentation, which I'm sure got me a little extra credit for that one. But it was a lot of fun getting to do, and it was a great experience. I loved every minute of Skills USA, and I've tried to advocate it to all, even the incoming kids, at the Career Center. I've tried to push that on them because it's such a great experience that I really want them to, join it as well.
Sure.
Yeah, very, very great program.
So what do you have to say?
Oh god.
Well, did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was fun. I would never thought I'd go like all the way to Orlando for that big of a competition.
Right.
And I really enjoyed it, and I learned a lot throughout the 2 years being at the Career Center, and a lot of hands-on things to do with welding and stuff, and the terms and all that, and the machines and stuff. I learned a lot, and I just enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, that's great. No, that's great.
Fun.
I have one more question for each of you. What's next? What are you planning to do next? I know plans can change, but right now, what's on your horizon here?
Well, I've just started going to ACM. Classes will start up for me on the 19th, and hopefully by the spring I'll be in the nursing program.
Awesome.
And then I'll move on and get my BSN at Frostburg. But
Right.
I want to stick with nursing. I'm going
Right.
to stick with nursing. I like
Great.
it.
Do you know what you want to do?
I just jumped right into a welding job up in Grantsville for Beitzel Corporation.
Nice.
So.
Nice. Well, congratulations to both. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Do you have a picture of your sculpture handy that you could let us see real quick, or no? Anybody? I'm intrigued.
While she's sharing, to jump right into a job, and Caleb, when you finish, you'll be able to pick wherever you want to work. Hopefully, you'll stay here in Allegany County, but that's an awesome profession.
I'm currently working out at Allegany Nursing Home,
Yeah.
and I'm loving it out
Yeah.
there. I don't know if I see myself leaving it. It's a really great place.
That's great.
You got the talent. Good job. I'm sure the rest want to see it. That's impressive.
That's great. Maybe you could teach Dr. Bond. My wells are ugly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that is incredible. That is really nice.
And the FBLA, I know you're all sitting there trying to figure out what you're going to say, but can you all step up just for a second? I think is it?
I was hoping this wouldn't happen.
If you just share a little bit about it, your experience. That's all I'm asking. That and then where you're going next. So.
So we went to regionals. I don't remember what school it was.
It was, regionals you said?
Yes.
Regionals, yeah. It was down near Baltimore. I'm not sure the school though.
We went to regionals in Baltimore, and all of us are in different categories with each other. So I'm in help desk. I've had a different experience than everybody else, but it was really fun. And I do recommend it for everybody that is coming up into the P-Tech program. And like in states, in the help desk category, I personally had to do an in-person call and help a group of people fix their TV without having to see them. And I also had to take a test. I found this whole experience great, and it was a great social experience to be able to talk to people from different countries and different states. We had people from Canada and China and the Virgin Islands, and I think there was another place that I can't remember.
Yeah.
But we got to pin trade and talk to everybody who we wanted to, and we got to meet all of the upcoming board members for the FBLA. So it was great.
And what's next?
After senior year this year, I would like to go to WVU to get my computer engineering and electrical engineering degree.
Okay. Great. Congrats.
Thank you.
Come on. You're all right. Did you have a good time?
Yeah, I had a pretty good time at FBLA and regionals. It's at Baltimore and Ocean City, and states is at Ocean City. And I placed fourth and made it to Orlando, and I had a great time collecting pins from people from different states, and it was a pretty good time. And
Yeah, it's nice. You get to do your school area, but you also get to do
Yeah.
the social part and learn about other, make some connections, huh?
Yeah,
Nice.
it was very nice doing that. We didn't place in Orlando, but it was still a good time. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, congratulations.
thank you very much.
Anybody else?
I'll go.
There you go.
So I was in coding and programming, and we made it all the way to nationals down in Orlando, Florida, like he said. And overall, it was a great time, even though we didn't place, getting to meet new people and go around a place that we'd never been at, and also try some food while we were there with all of our friends that we knew from the school. It was overall a great experience, and it was a fun time to be there.
That's great to hear. Thanks.
I did cybersecurity, and like we all said, we made it down to nationals. Not sure where we placed, but it was a great experience. Got to learn a lot, see a lot of people, meet new people, socialize, and super fun.
Yep.
That's
Fun. Sounds like a fun trip.
Mhm.
I'd like to thank all the instructors for everything, too. These students don't get there without the leadership out at the Career Center, and Mr. King, that starts with you whole way through with our instructors, so thank you.
So not only are these instructors great, but there's many other skill areas that have instructors that do fantastic jobs with our students. One plug for the Career Center, we have our back to school night on Wednesday, August 21st from 4 to 6. General public, new students, anybody's invited to that. Thank you all again.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. King. Next on the agenda is Ann Stark and Ms. Laupert with the FFA State Convention.
Hello, I'm
How are
Annie
you?
Stark, and I teach at Allegany High School, and I'm also the FFA advisor there. And so I'm here today to speak about Colin Sheehy. Colin's speech, "Municipalities are restricting renewable energy, now what?" earned him first place at the Maryland State FFA Convention and Competition at Garrett College on June 25th, 2024. Colin graciously allowed his father and me to sit in the room while he gave his speech. And then after he gave his speech, he had to field 5 minutes of impromptu questions from the judges. Colin's speech was delivered with poise, confidence, and skill, and he exhibited an impressive ability to think on his feet while answering questions from the judges. One of the judges, Mike McKay, spoke about Colin in his speech at the July Farm Bureau picnic and told members how well Colin represented Allegany County. Colin's achievement has also made Allegany High School history, as he is the first FFA member to earn first place at a state competition. Colin's hard work, preparation, and skill left an indelible impression with all who interacted with him and heard his speech at the state convention. So congratulations, Colin. Your excellence has shown that it has no bounds, and your achievement has made all of us very proud. Thank you very much.
Come on up, Colin.
Don't run away, Ann.
Yeah. Tell us about your experience firsthand here.
Well, of course, it all started with Mrs. Stark, who was like, "Hey, I think you should do this contest." And I was like, "Okay, I'll look into it." And I would say what I actually probably got the most out of it was the very first initial stage, the writing stage. Because if you think, in an English class, you might get an assignment, write about this book, or they'll give you a very specific prompt, write about this prompt. But, the prompt for this contest was write any speech that has anything at all to do with agriculture or natural resources. So I got to do my own research, come up with my own bibliography and really shape the topic and the argument that I wanted to do. And that alone, I think, is the most valuable experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I went to the regional qualification round in March, where Mr. Farrell was on the judging panel and won that. Went to the state, did the preliminary in the morning and the final in the afternoon. And I thought I handled it very well, but you really don't know at first, when you're getting those questions from the judges. You have to think at your feet, and so I was able to pull my knowledge both from my own research, and also from Mrs. Stark's classroom and extracurricular teaching.
Mhm.
I would also like to say that I was impressed by the representation by people from Allegany County and also Western Maryland as a whole, both as staff and on the judging panel.
Nice. Congratulations to Annie and the school administrators and some of the English teachers over there too, that Colin's referring to. Colin, I know that your time is short here, so tell us about your future here before we wind up.
Well, I'll be leaving on August 22nd for Princeton University. I plan on majoring in mathematics, but that's definitely not set in stone at all.
Mhm.
I'm hoping to get into environmental chemistry as an elective class that has a general chem prerequisite, but through my scoring on the advanced placement chemistry exam, I would be exempt from that and allowed to take environmental chemistry in my first semester. So I'm
Nice.
looking forward to that as an elective. You know, whether that'll actually change anything down the road, who knows, but I'm
Oh.
looking forward to those opportunities, and you know, that advanced placement opportunity certainly have helped as well.
Sure.
I think he's told us before, but his SAT scores phenomenal. I had
Thank
trouble
you.
just finding the building today.
Are you going to be able to compete in the fall with being at Princeton?
No,
or-
unfortunately, I won't be able to make it to the national convention.
Well, you're doing big things. That's
Yes.
okay.
Colin, congratulations. It's been a tremendous pleasure watching your career as you've gone through Allegheny from this seat. I've thoroughly enjoyed seeing all your success and hard work.
Thank you.
And we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
As he said, I got to judge them. At the regional.
Colin, I'm sure there are a lot of students that are happy to see you moving on so they have a chance to win some things. Congratulations. It's
I got
awesome.
to judge him at the regional, and it was phenomenal. And then we went to the state, and I was judged there for 2 days. I didn't judge him in the state, but it's phenomenal to see the FFA competition statewide, all the students and all the things that they compete in. And the last judging I did up there was a girl from Clear Spring who her speech was on breeding quarter horses. I'm sitting there and I bred quarter horses for I don't know how many years, and her speech was on HYPP negative breeding. And so she's given this speech, and then at the end she had to answer 5 questions from me, you know, and she's like, well, I wonder how he knows all that stuff. And she did an excellent job. I mean, excellent job, and all the kids did. It's phenomenal to watch. Thank you. CEP, Todd?
Hello, thank you for having me this evening. It's a great opportunity to be here to spread some great information for Allegany County. I'm here to speak on the CEP, which stands for Community Eligibility Provision. It is a federal program that is offered to low-income counties, such as ours, to offer free meals to all of the students in Allegany County, and that would be breakfast and lunch. Currently, we have 5 schools on this program. So as a district, we applied district-wide for all 21 schools. And since we were eligible, and we have since been approved. So as of the first day of school, August 26th, all students in Allegany County will eat free breakfast and lunch. So that's a great accomplishment. I mean, it's good for the county in a lot of ways. So.
That's a big deal, Todd.
It is.
I mean, really, for all our kids to eat that. And I wanted, Crystal Bender had I think a big push in that to get that to happen. I want to thank Crystal for helping in that.
Well, we had been asking Mr. Blank before, what could we do? But we were just at the point where
Right.
financially it was going to strap us. But I think COVID kind of brought to the forefront how dependent these kids were on student or school meals in the summer and the access they had even that time when all
Sure.
that was funded, and we hated to see all that go away. So this is fantastic. Thank you for putting in for that, and
Yep.
we hope the community is paying attention and realizes
Yes.
what a great thing this is.
Yep.
So Todd, thanks for all your work on the application and sticking with the CEP program. I can remember our first meeting actually in this room.
Right.
Everyone was a little skeptic when it first came out,
Mhm.
and we slowly moved forward. I think we started with 3 schools, went to 5 schools.
Yes.
And then the percentage and the formula worked out where we could
Right.
do this. So just to be clear, all students in Allegheny County, breakfast and lunch, there is no cost.
Correct. Yep.
That's an awesome thing for the community.
And no application needed. So before they had to fill out a free and reduced application, unless they were automatically qualified. So
And that's a plus. I think everybody will be
that's a huge plus for, in my office, for out at the schools at the administrative level, and then for the parents, not having to fill out that application. So it's great.
Great.
So,
Thank you.
okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Ms. Simpson, summer school update.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the time to talk about the summer school. I supervise and oversee the high school portion of summer school. As you know, there were elementary, middle, high, and some special needs programs throughout the summer, but I do oversee high school in 2 areas. The first is for credit recovery. We offer opportunity for students that have failed a class to recover that in a 20-day period. And summer, we do offer that 3 times through the school year as well, but summer is a great opportunity because the students are provided transportation. They are also provided their breakfast and lunch, and they can earn up to 2 credits back. This was super important. We made a few changes this year, just looking at some things with Blueprint as far as college career readiness and 9th graders on track. So our 9th graders on track have to have at least 5 credits by the end of their 9th grade year in order to be considered on track for graduation. It's really would be 6 to kind of put them there with needing 23 credits. But in the Blueprint, we need at least 5 credits. So summer school enabled those students that really were not on track to graduate to recover those. And so all of the data from and their coursework through the summer also counts for 9th grade on track. Also, as far as college and career readiness, the students are deemed CCR. There's a lot of new implementations, which I won't get into, but one thing was that the new pathway is that they have to have a GPA of 3.0 and math mastery, which for one pathway is passing their Algebra 1 class with a C or better. So a lot of students that had failed Algebra 1, I took a look at how we were rolling out, especially post-COVID. It seemed like so many of the expectations and standards had been lowered, and it was just time to really bring the bar back up. We were wondering exactly how it would be received. A lot of the students in the past, we would say, well, they get their credit when they get to a 60. So if you're at a 60, you can continue and earn a higher grade, or you can be finished. Well, let's face it, even very academic students in the middle of their summer want to be finished. This wasn't the best pathway, or it wasn't most advantageous for them, especially when those skills build upon and they need higher skills to succeed the next year. So it was kind of setting them up with only requiring them to meet a 60%. It was setting them up to just struggle next year. So instead, what I did was implemented a stricter attendance policy, first of all, that they had to come at 3 absences. We dismissed them from the program. That was told to them prior to and called, and their parents knew of that. Second of all, I met with all of the supervisors and came up with, I said, what units and set of assignments and coursework do you feel the student really needs exposed to and successful in order to move, especially in math and English, for next year's coursework? So we came up with a set of assignments, and what we did this year is we said, you have to finish all of the assignments. Not when you get to a 60% of overall points you can be finished. You can be finished when you get finished all of the assignments. At that point, whatever grade you have is what your credit recovery grade would be. So it was very positive if you were able to look over. If not, I did a summary here and just was thrilled with the results. At first, it was a little bucked. Kids were like, I thought I only had to get to a 60. And even teachers, believe it or not, were like, they have to stay with us till the, and we were like, well, once we explained the philosophy, everyone was really on board. So on the right, you can see last year, summer recovery. It's interesting that almost the exact same amount of credits were recovered. We did recover 199 credits this summer at the high school level, which is incredible. Last year was 206. And the bar graph to the right, you can see how many credits recovered were at a D. 159 of those 206, which is only 22% of the credits were higher than a D. Two things: students didn't gather as much knowledge as we would hope to move on, and also it wasn't achieving the CCR status, especially in math, to get at least a C. So this year, when we said you finish all the assignments, wherever you're at with that grade, it didn't mean they couldn't finish early. They didn't have to stay necessarily 20 days. If they worked hard, they still could get out of there maybe in 15 days. But when they finished all of the coursework, you can see we had 83.4% of the credits higher than a D this year, which I was thrilled with. We also had almost double the amount of credits from students with IEPs and 3 times the amount of credits recovered for students with a 504. One other thing that I said, which is just, we fight constantly with these students in the summer about their cell phones, and I just said from the get-go, we're not having them. You can have them on your person, or your teacher can require them to be up on the chalk, on the ledge, but we're not having them. Some of them want to, like, while I'm doing work, I'll just listen to music. And it's too much of a temptation if it's out for them to constantly be on social media. And so I just said, there are no phones this summer. But we did not have a fight from the students. We did not. We thought we were going to, and we did not. So I was thrilled with that as well. Along with this, saying that the 9th graders on track have to have at least 5 credits to be on track, we had 55 credits recovered by freshmen going into their 10th grade year. We found that very important to not wait until later and then try to figure out, how am I going to graduate on time? So the next graph is, let's see, where do I go to get to the next one? Right there. The next graph just shows the breakdown of all the different coursework, just to show you the amount. It's not just like 4 different classes occurring. You can see all of the different coursework that we offer. We try, if a student wants to recover, we have a teacher there. We have them working with them. And the breakdown at the bottom showing math, English, science, almost equal in credits recovered. And as you can see, my statement there, 77% of the Algebra 1 credits recovered were at a C or higher, which gives them their CCR status. That's super important for them and their pathway. If they're not deemed CCR, we are mandated through Blueprint to provide extra opportunities. It creates different things in their schedules. And so, achieving that is great for them. It also indicates to us that they can now go a different pathway for higher coursework. So the second area that I oversee, besides credit recovery, it's like you have the one end where students have failed. And just to talk about that, one more thing on credit recovery, a lot of those students, it's not that they don't have the ability. I think the graphs that I just showed proves they do have the ability, and they just need encouraged. They need, that they can get back on track. A lot of the classes are smaller than what they see in the school day, and the staff is just incredibly encouraging to these kids that they can do it. So. But the other area is original credit. We do offer, as you know, for students to earn original credit in the summer. And this, the parents and the students do pay for. And we offer Health 1, this year we added Health 2, since that's a new state graduation requirement. Personal financial literacy, we usually offer either fine arts or a music. We didn't have anyone taking that this year. Sometimes if there was a need, we would, or a request, Foundations of Tech. And the big one is phys ed. A lot of the students like to get that phys ed credit out of the way. They can do so in a 3-week period, especially for phys ed because it's a full credit. It's all day for 3 weeks. And even on Fridays when the schools are closed, we take field trips on Fridays. The students this year, they did yoga, bowling, roller skating, swimming, boating, archery, hiking. We went to out to Rocky Gap. They set up all the archery out there, and they did boating activities. They went up to Dan's Mountain for swimming and did the volleyball and some things there. So it was very successful. As you can see, 40 students. It's the highest ever. This summer, 120, not 124 on my notes there, original credits earned this summer. Why do students do that? Well, some of them want to make room in their schedule so that they have more room for dual enrollment, AP coursework. Some of them know that either sports or band gobbles up one period every single year. And so it's just to free up some space on their schedule so that they can take maybe some electives that they want, or as I said, dual enrollment AP coursework. So that's it as far as mine. I will open up and see if you have any questions.
No, thank you for scheduling and having our students have so many opportunities, whether they're making upgrades or whether they're planning in their schedule to get ahead. So thanks for all your hard work.
You're welcome. My
Success
pleasure.
for our students.
Next on the agenda, unfinished business. Consider second reading of school attendance area policy file JC. Mr. Llewellyn.
The change to this policy is the addition of a definition for what a bona fide resident is. And this was requested by pupil personnel due to some issues with folks just owning property in the county but not necessarily having their residence here, then trying to get their student to be a student here. So we added that definition. This is second reading, so after today, if you pass it, it's policy.
I need a motion to approve the second reading of policy JC.
Motion to approve the second reading of policy JC.
Ms. Leftley.
Second.
Second by Dr. Bond. Any questions? All those in favor? Passed. Second on it is consider second reading of homeless children and youth policy, JLG. Mr. Llewellyn.
This is an entirely new policy. We're required to have this policy to comply with the McKinney-Vento Homeless Education Assistance Act and corresponding state regulation. So this policy deals exclusively with homeless students and the services we're required to provide to them. This is second reading, so if it passes, then it becomes policy.
I need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve policy JLG, homeless children and youth.
Ms. Fraley.
Second.
Ms. Bender. Any questions? All those in favor? Approved. There are no constituents here or signed up to speak, so we will go past that and go past any responses. We're on to new business and consider the first reading of trespass or willful disturbance policy, KFA. Mr. Llewellyn.
This is a brand new policy. It is to outline our process for providing no trespass letters to individuals who need to be not trespassed. So we have the practice of doing this, but we don't have it in policy. And to try to even that out and develop a standard way of doing this, policy committee reviewed this month. They recommend it. We will be having just an exhibit, I think, for you next month for the letter itself. So we'll have a form letter as a system to guide principals and our school security coordinator.
We need a motion to approve policy KFA.
Motion to approve policy KFA, trespassing or willful disturbance policy.
Ms. Leslie,
Second.
second by Ms. Bender. Any questions? All those in favor? Passed. Before I go into the next part, I want to announce that the October meeting, not the September meeting, but the October meeting, will be moved to October 13th due to the MABE conference that will be occurring, which is a conflict to the originally scheduled, I think, October 8th meeting. So we'll be moving the October meeting to the 13th. Next on the agenda is to vote to meet an executive session September 10th, 2024, as necessary.
Move to vote to meet an executive session on September 10th, 2024.
Dr. Bond,
Second.
Ms. Lepley, all those in favor? Passed.
Mr. Farrell, the meeting in October, the Tuesday's date is the 15th, not the 13th.
The 15th, not the 13th?
Yeah, 15th
Okay,
is a Tuesday.
sorry. My error.
He said 13. I wasn't sure what you were saying. Anyway, there's the calendar.
Thank you.
Yep.
Student member, the new student member is not here. I'm sure we'll see her next board meeting. Any board member updates? Ms. Lepley.
So with the start of the new school year, we just want to make sure that parents and students are aware of the bullying, harassment, or intimidation policy. So if there is an incident that happens, it must be reported through our bullying, harassment, or intimidation form. And this form can be found on the website, the ACPS website, and it's on the home page under Report Bullying. And all the administrators and school counselors also have this form, and it can be turned in through a school.
Thanks, Lori. Appreciate you doing that. Any other member updates? That being said, we are to need a motion to close.
Move to adjourn.
Dr. Bond,
Second.
Ms. Bender, all those in favor? Adjourn.